All right, in today's video, we're out here in the most Yellowstone spot we could find in our valley to do this video, and we're going to talk about what's real and what's fake about the show Yellowstone. So I'm here with Hillary today, who's a huge Yellowstone fan. So we get asked all the time about the show Yellowstone and if Montana's really like Yellowstone or how accurate is the show. So we thought we'd go over a few things. And the first one that I want to bring up is kind of one of the early seasons where Beth was out bathing in the trough out front. I don't know about, I haven't seen that before. Do you bathe in a trough out in your front yard?
Well, I would just like to say that I'm sure nobody wants you to see that, and so that's why you haven't seen it happen before. But no, I do not bathe in a trough. I do not have a trough, and you know, I don't think I know anyone that does that either, although it did look pretty glamorous.
So another thing that goes on quite a bit in the show is that there's a lot of gunfighting and gun shooting in public areas. If you remember last season, I think John Dutton went into a diner and wiped out a whole bunch of people. Pretty sure if that was true, he'd be in jail. Hillary's husband is a lawyer and would probably be defending him. But
it's true.
But yeah, we don't have, I mean, guns are welcome here in Montana, but you don't see what they portray on the show is not normal, as you probably can imagine.
It's definitely not the Wild Wild West. I will say that when we picked out this location, we actually drove here yesterday hoping to get the filming done, but there were hunters out here and we didn't want to get shot, so we came back today. But I think that's about as close a call we'll ever get.
So another thing that people ask about are the ranches, and on the show they portray the Yellowstone Ranch, which is actually the Chief Joseph Ranch. And we did a video last year where we stood out in front of the gate at the Chief Joseph Ranch. If you want to watch that, we'll put the link up above. But the ranches on this side of the state are nowhere near as large as they're portraying the one on the show. So there are some big pieces of property here, but I think on the show they're saying that that's the biggest piece of land in Montana. You may find things of that size on the east side of Montana, but over here, you're not going to find anything as big as what they're talking about on the show.
I will also say that I don't think it looks as remote as it is on the show. You can see in the previous video we did, you pull in the driveway right off the highway, so there are cars going by and it's kind of loud. And when you get in there, it's obviously beautiful and there's a lot of open space, but
that is the funny thing about the real show, is that they film in the town called Darby, or just south of the town of Darby, which is about an hour south of Missoula, which if you look on a map, I'll put a map up here, you will see that Yellowstone Park is nowhere near where the ranch is that they're filming this at. Yellowstone's probably 6 hours away, because on the show they're saying that the ranch is right outside of Yellowstone Park, and then that the town they go to all the time is Bozeman. Well, again, Darby is nowhere near Bozeman. In fact, Missoula is the biggest city, that's the biggest nearby city to Darby.
And that's where they do a lot of filming.
Correct. And like Hillary mentioned a minute ago, there's a highway, Highway 93, that runs right along the side and, you know, front door of the ranch. So when they film it, it looks like you're out in the middle of nowhere. So one of the other things that's interesting, if you watch, is that they always just film from late spring until early fall. So you never see any scenes where there's snow on the ground because they don't film in the winter. So another kind of funny thing that stands out a little bit, because we definitely get winter down in the Darby area, and it's funny that they've never shot a scene that I remember where there's snow on the ground.
It's a little deceptive.
So the other thing, I'll put a chart on the screen here, is the license plates, and this is kind of nitpicky, but the license plates they use on the cars in the show if you're a local, you will know that Montana, the license plates all have a number in the front, and that represents the county that it's from. Well, the counties don't match up. Like in our area, we're Flathead County, and that's number 7, so all the license plates from here are number 7. So on the show, you'll see plates from Ravalli County, which is where they're filming in Darby, or Helena, or Great Falls, or all over, but not a lot from Bozeman, which is supposedly where they're at. But again, kind of nitpicky, and you know, one of the things for locals to get a chuckle out of.
Exactly. If you know, you know.
So let's get into the real life, or how Yellowstone is like real life here in Montana. We just talked about all the things that's not true or not real. One of the major storylines, as you know, is that, you know, they're trying to buy John Dutton's ranch, and he's fighting off these corporate people that are trying to come in and take over his land in Montana. Well, interestingly enough, there's a situation going on right now down in Holland Lake, or down at Holland Lake, where a big corporation out of Utah is trying to buy this lodge that's already there and make it a lot bigger. And if you Google it, you'll find it. Just Google Holland Lake Lodge Resort, and all of this will come up. But the locals have kind of got together and are fighting this, and it's an interesting scenario that would be perfect for the show, and kind of
it could be a whole season.
Exactly, it could be the whole season of Yellowstone, talking about this thing down at Holland Lake. But you know, people in Montana have always been protective of the land in the area for good reason. As you can see behind us, they don't want a whole bunch of development, and that's what's going on right down in Holland Lake right now, which is in the Swan Valley, which I've done videos on also. And I actually went to Holland Lake, and in my Swan Valley video, if you're interested, you should check that one out as well. Finally, where Yellowstone is right on the mark is they don't exaggerate the scenery. As you can see behind us, and as you can see in the show, it's just beautiful around here. That ranch is spectacular. Like we talked about, we were extras on the show this year, and we got to go to the ranch, and it's just as beautiful in person as you can imagine as it is on the show. So they're not stretching that at all.
Yeah, they may not be located exactly where they say they're located, and they might, you know, shoot standing on the highway looking in the opposite direction, but everything else that they're filming is gorgeous and spot on.
Yep, Montana's a beautiful spot, and if you live here now and you want to be an extra, there's a Facebook group, ironically enough, called Yellowstone Extras, and you can, they require that you're from Montana or that you live in Montana to be an extra. And so, yeah, it was easy. Hillary and I just applied, and they chose both of us, oddly enough. But yeah, they put up, every week they put up new requests for different people, different types of people, different ages of people. So I would highly suggest doing it. It was tons of fun. So next week when the show premieres, keep an eye out for us. We were filming part of the first episode.
We were there.
We were there, so you might have to look really hard. We might be on a whole bunch or not at all.
You might have to pause and zoom.
I'm sure on our next live video after the premiere, when we can talk about it, we'll break it down and see if we were actually on, or if you have to use a magnifying glass after you pause to find us, because the day we did it, there were 300 people out there, and I don't remember ever being part of a close-up. Hillary may have been.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see. So hope you enjoyed that. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see everybody later.
Ta-ta.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.